Let's do it. Grab.
What are we doing? Crab?
Come on. Yeah.
You guys are loving to hold it. It's starting to come out now.
Ah!
Get that angle, Doug.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Revelia coming to you from ProPhysique.com, and this is the day after the 2014 IFPA Pro Gaspari Classic in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. This guy you're looking at right here needs no introduction. This is Doug Miller. So the day of the show, I got there super early. I was able to see Doug get pumped up. I was able to see him help a little bit with his color. He did a fantastic job. Obviously, Doug, as you know, won the heavyweight class and the overall, beating a fantastic bodybuilder in Moji Alua. So during the day, actually got to hang out with Carl and Amy and Doug and Marshall Johnson and his wife Susie. We're all representatives of CORE. And during the day, Doug and I realized we both had flights late on Sunday. And he mentioned to me that he was going to train legs in the morning and that there was a Gold's Gym in the basement of his hotel, which sounded ridiculous to me, but sure enough, there was. So, of course, I took the opportunity to train legs with Doug. Obviously, I've trained with Doug before. I've seen his videos. I know what a volume freak he is, and I knew I was going to be in a little bit of trouble because at that time I was training a little bit differently. I was doing more a power approach, so anything over 8 reps to me was considered cardio. But you know what, sometimes you just gotta man up, do what you can do. And I figured the day after the contest would probably be the best time ever to train with Doug because he's a little bit run down from the peak week and competing, but yeah, still he didn't let us down. I don't even know how many plates is on there, like 11, 10, whatever. But what we were basically doing here was going back and forth. There was no rest. So, Doug started off with the leg press, and I went, and he went, and I went, and he went. So it was a nice way to start the day. And actually, this was in September, and actually, I have been using a little bit more leg pressing in my leg training because I just got such a nice feeling out of it on this day. And I've noticed, some hypertrophy from that. So, I did get something out of this other than the fact that, Doug's a freak. And I think this is our final set, which was a drop set. And what we did here was just, loaded it up, went pretty close to failure, pulled a couple plates off, and then repeated all the way down. And Doug's not having any problems. I mean, I know he looks like he's struggling, but, I remember me at this point, I was already breathing heavy. I actually recorded my entire drop set in one. Most of the footage is of Doug, just because, his training is a lot more interesting than mine. From both my perspective and probably the viewer's perspective, but I did get a few of my sets. I had him film a few things.
There's no pain. It's only what you can do.
One reason I had him film it was just to give me some motivation because, leg training in this style, if you're not used to it, pretty much nonstop for about 90 minutes, maybe almost an hour and 45. We were here.
There you go, buddy.
Yeah, there's a. So here's another thing you'll notice. You'll be like, Paul, what the hell are you wearing to train in? Well, I flew up to Cape Cod. I got in Friday night at 2 in the morning. The show started at 8 a.m. and I was leaving Sunday afternoon. So I just assumed I would not be doing anything of this nature. So of course I just packed cold weather clothes, jeans, and stuff. So when Doug said, "Hey, would you want to come train?" I was like, "Well, I'd love to come train, but I literally only brought a backpack. I didn't even have, I didn't check a bag. I literally just had my carry-on with a couple changes of clothes, my computer for work." So he said, "No, I'll throw you some clothes." So of course I'm wearing a pair of Core Nutritionals Crush It shorts, a hashtag Gains shirt, and a Crush It hat. The shoes I'm wearing are actually my Toms that I just like to bring them with me when I travel because they're easy to slip on and slip off through the airports. They actually make an okay pair of shoes for training legs because they're really flat soled. Not that I'd ever wear them again, but we weren't doing anything like squatting, so it wasn't a big deal. For pressing, I actually had no problem with them. This is my drop set on leg press, and yeah, I was already struggling and feeling it here, but I wasn't going to let Doug know that. He was pushing me pretty hard, but it was it was a nonstop fast and furious leg training session. Much like I'm very accustomed to these. I just hadn't done them in a while because I've been doing more like the DUP training where I squat and deadlift heavy 3 times a week, so my volume's high, but the rest and the high reps is what kind of got me. With DUP, you take a lot of rest between sets. The intensity is really high on the weights, but it's not. It's not to the point of exhaustion or like cardiovascular failure, which is where I was at right here. As you can see, I'm breathing heavy. And then this gym had a lot of nice equipment. This is a V squat machine, or whatever you want to call it. And as you can see, Doug has textbook form. Hips back. We decided to use this instead of like a Smith squat or a squat machine. For one, my knees had been bothering me, so I really wasn't even planning on doing this training. So, and he kind of agreed. He didn't really want to do squats. So this was a nice transition from leg press into like a full leg movement. Full, it's pretty much a squat. And this machine, you can load it up with some good weight and get a good stretch out of it. Feels great on the quads, the glutes, the hamstrings, everything. So this is just another example of how strong Doug is. You'll see here, I think he's got 4 plates on there now, but it's about to go up big time.
13 days, man, 13 days.
One thing that it's hard to get across in videos is if you don't train with Doug, this is probably my second, third, maybe fourth time training with Doug.
Come on.
He literally just goes nonstop, and he doesn't do drop sets. He increases the weight on each set. It's pretty ridiculous. So he'll warm up and almost go to failure on his sets and then go up the next set and then go to failure again. He really, really believes in, high volume, high intensity, pushing yourself on every set. And you know what? You got to respect the guy for that. And he gets results. And, I come from a place where I train with Lane all the time and, periodization and, all that stuff comes into play, but there's still just something about going in there and just destroying your body. It's kind of like a test of your mental character. So here's my version of the V squat. As you can see, for those of you that don't know, I'm 6'3", so yes, I look like a stork in a squat machine. But I still try to get into a good position. I think I probably get a little bit out of position at the bottom. I can actually handle quite a bit more weight on this machine, but after that damn leg press drop set, I was freaking exhausted. And so let's see, there's Doug's got 6 plates on there now. So
good position.
Yeah, he's a beast. And if anything, when you hang out with Doug and train with Doug, you just see how much of his life is dedicated, towards the perfection of everything he does, from core nutritionals to, to being a father to.
There it is.
His family. He's got an awesome wife, Stephanie. His business is great. He actually started Core Nutritionals because he felt that the supplements he was taking he didn't trust. So he started making supplements that he believed in.
Let's go, man. Make it look easy.
I have since become a core rep and athlete, and Doug's given a lot back to the sport of natural bodybuilding, and he continues to do so. And his products have now come a long way, actually, to the point where they're almost becoming mainstream. And so this was actually a drop set, and he dropped from 6 plates to 4 plates here. But I can't reiterate enough how quickly we were going. There was literally no breaks. Like if he was going, I was filming, and then as soon as he was done, it was my turn. So time really went by quick. I remember at the end we looked up, and it had been about an hour and 45 minutes of training. And you know, when you're training at that pace, time really flies. And honestly, I was just trying to keep up with him. I was just trying to enjoy it for what it was. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to be as strong as Doug or you know, have the endurance that he has. But you know, considering the guy just won an overall title the day before, and I believe he had 2 weeks until he was. I think he was a little bit 50-50 before the Cape Cod show on doing the Yorton Cup, but he decided while we were there, after getting a lot of feedback from, you know, judges and other competitors, that he was going to go ahead and do the Yorton Cup. The only reason that he felt he maybe shouldn't do it was because his company, Core Nutritionals, was a headline sponsor. So it is the Core Nutritionals Yorton Cup.
Yes.
Now, there's no rules that state that you can't be a sponsor and also compete. So when he heard that, and he got nothing but positive feedback from people requesting it, and to be fair, you know, if you're going to be a Yorton Cup champion, wouldn't you want Doug Miller to be there? I mean, he beat 3 or 4 other previous Yorton Cup champions. I think Cleveland Thomas was there. Russell Harrelson was there, who was the heavyweight winner before. Marshall Johnson was the lightweight winner. He was there. I think you had Willie Brown, who was like 2007 or 2008 Yorton Cup champion. He was there. So, I mean, you had a plethora of champions. And I know, like, if I was at that level, and I realize I'm not, but if I was at that level, when you win, you want to beat the best. So I think it was a good decision on Doug's part. I think it also may have been his last competition with the IFPA. It was his second consecutive, you know, well, he won one 5 years earlier, 2009, but it was his second Yorton Cup win. But this workout was basically the day after the show, 2 weeks out from the Yorton Cup, and I think knowing that he was going to do the Yorton Cup kind of got him excited back in the gym. You know, we were kind of having fun this day. We were kind of like running around the gym, laughing, and there were some other people in the gym joking around with us. Willie Brown and his wife were actually in the gym with us that day.
Let's go.
But it was just 2 guys getting up 8 in the morning. We went out to breakfast. I think we went to IHOP, had a nice little breakfast, and you know, the nice thing about you know, friends that live a similar life to you is this was not odd at all. We got up at 8 in the morning, trained, and we both got back to our hotels and got on a flight. You know, we went to DC and I came to Tampa. So now I know a lot of people are going to look at this, and you know, the form trolls are going to be like, oh, well, he's not getting a full stretch. But actually, if you can hear what he's saying, he's actually discussing with me. He's got some Achilles tendonitis. So he wasn't getting a full stretch on purpose. He was just trying to get some blood into the calves. Obviously, his calves are pretty fantastic, so you know he trains them properly. This is me at, yeah, I look pretty fat compared to Doug, but, you know, I'm complete off-season. He just literally won an overall title, so he's pretty freaking shredded. This was an interesting shot to me because the guy's freaking biceps are like, they look like tumors in his arms. They're so big. His insertions are just ridiculous. But as you can see, you know, he's doing the same thing here. He's not getting a full stretch at the bottom. He's just focusing on the squeeze at the top, and that's because he has the Achilles issue. And for those of you that have been contest lean, you do have to make some adjustments like that. Your joints and ligaments and tendons and all the soft connective tissues of the physique tend to take a little more beating. Anyway, guys, this is the last set, and then I headed off to my flight. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.